Twick or tweets. What up, YouTube? It's your boys, Detroit Love. What in the world is going on here? It's PDUBS, Michael with the Game GD. No Nostalgia with a super Halloween episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Let's get started.
You messed that up so bad.
Okay. I don't know what was happening.
It's the worst. It's the worst of the worst, baby.
It's like he forgot my name. Between this show and the Loft Report, I think you and I have broadcasted well over 150 episodes together, and you got like, who is that? Oh yeah, PDUBS, right?
No,
PDUBS.
what it was is I had the other window up, and it started playing. And started saying what I'm saying, like, what the heck is going on here? I never have that up, so that threw me off.
So looks like Indiana Jones is a Canadian. Michael B. the Game Genie's here. Same with Detroit Love. Detroit Love is man, that costume is pretty pimp, man. I love that. What would you name that costume, Detroit Love?
He's the Bone Lover.
The Bone Dr. Bones?
Dr. Bones.
Hey lady, no time for love, Dr. Jones. No time for love, lady. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to wear a costume tonight.
You're a buster. You're a buster.
That's all it is. You guys aren't mad at me about that, are you?
Of course we are. I mean, I get this get up. You tell me, hey, we're doing costumes. Put a 1 in the chat if you got a costume on, and then you show up like this. I'm quite disappointed. I must
Michael
say.
B, come on. It's okay with you that I'm not in a costume, right?
I'm disappointed.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. Well, sorry about that, guys. I would love to be in a costume, but unfortunately, you know, the show must go on whether we have costumes or not. So, what is that? Oh crap!
I am Dub-Zero. I have arrived.
Finally,
Dub-Zero has joined the show.
Because we were gonna fly down to Arizona and get you.
P-Dubs is gone. Dub-Zero has arrived.
What up, Dub-Zero? What's happening?
I'm cool, bro. I'm cool.
You're cool?
Cool. I'm chill. I'm very chill right now.
You ready for a chill and chat?
If you guys are happy to see Dub-Zero, channel members, put that Dub-Zero emoji in the live chat. We'd love to see it. Dub-Zero has finally made the live show here on the Super Game Room Dudes. We're very excited that I'm here. Also, guys, we're very excited to have all of you. Happy Halloween weekend, and welcome to the Super Game Room Dudes, the Friday Funhouse. Nostalgia had a family emergency, could not make it to tonight's episode, so we wish him all the best. Got Michael B here, got Detroit Love, and we're going to talk about some news in the arcade and gaming world, as well as we got a couple fun things planned. We're going to play a game called Worst of the Worst.
Worst of the worst. Can I give an update? I actually got an update on Nostalgia. You remember a couple of weeks ago, Nostalgia couldn't be here because his dog got attacked by a raccoon. But what we've been finding out is the raccoon is also his and has gone on a rampage all around Ontario. So if you're in Ontario currently, watch out for Nostalgia's raccoon. He's out wandering the streets trying to get him back.
Well, that story would have some merit if that was actually true. It was a skunk, so I'm not sure how.
Oh yeah, that was a skunk. That's. Oh, I wish I remembered that. His raccoon is also loose.
Yeah,
he has a skunk and a raccoon apparently.
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's do it. Michael B., where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about tonight first? Where are we going with the arcade and gaming news?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that there hasn't been a whole lot going on, but since we're doing a Halloween episode and there's some Halloween stuff going on with AtGames, why don't we talk about that a little bit?
All right, let's do it. Talk about it. What you got?
I don't know. You were the one who's supposed to have the information. You're the face of AtGames.
I am not the face of AtGames.
Today you are. Nostalgia's gone.
So there is some really cool stuff going on with AtGames. They're going to have a Halloween pinball tournament coming up this weekend.
Yes.
So a lot of really good tables there. I love Spooky. I know that our buddy Shotgun Sean is also a big fan of Spooky as well. So Spooky's going to be on there. There's a couple other ones, Zombies and The Mummy, which I'm not familiar with. I'm mostly going to be, if I get a chance to, trying to play some. I know. See, you should have been the terror that flaps in the night, PDUBS.
Oh, I should have dressed as Darkwing Dubs, and you would have been Launchpad McQuack. Oh, I freaking love it. Oh, thanks so much, Rainwater Games. I needed that. Okay, so yeah, guys, this Sunday on Halloween, AtGames is doing a big pinball tournament. There's 9 Halloween or horror-themed pinball games built into their platform, as well as on the Zaccaria add-on packs. Play Haunted House, play Bone Busters.
Oh, that's
play
right.
4
I forgot about
versions.
those. Yeah.
4 versions of Spooky, also The Mummy and Zombie. Play those games on Halloween, win some prizes. Let's see who can get the best scores for the AtGames Pinball Tournament. I myself will be participating because, my son is older and he's got Halloween parties to go to, friends to hang out with. So me and the wife are going to hand out candy and then probably play video games all day. So that's probably going to be our Halloween. Don't know about you guys.
I got to take my daughter out. My wife is going to stay home and man the door because, she's got reasons right now due to her complications. Her hips are starting to go out, so she can't really go walking with the kids. So I'm solo on the trick-or-treating this Sunday.
Yep. Here's an interesting thought that someone just threw in the live chat. Should AtGames change their name or rebrand their name? AtGames should consider rebranding. I mentioned their name to some gamers, and they still brought up the garbage console, like those old Sega consoles and stuff from years ago. Should they come out with a whole new product name? I mean, they kind of did. I mean, all the products are a Legends Ultimate, a Legends Core. It's like a whole new brand. You know what I mean? So I think they kind of already did that. It's just the fact that they're AtGames. Some people still hold on to the past, right? They hold on to years back when AtGames wasn't doing so great. But you have to admit, although they have firmware challenges here and there, the products today are leaps and bounds better than what they were back in the day. Go ahead,
Carl. Yeah, I'll let you go first because I talk too much.
Yeah, you do. Who noticed?
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have any experience with the lousy products that people talk about, and the majority of people aren't going to have any experience. So, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's going to have that impact. It hasn't had the impact so far. The people just got to let things go. I don't think the small percentage of people that know about the bad experiences is not going to impact the sales. It's not going to impact the products that's released today. It's not going to impact the fun that people are having with them. So I don't think you take all that money and start rebranding everything. Doesn't make any sense.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, I mean,
rebuttal, Michael B.
No rebuttal at all. I mean, for them to rebrand now, I don't think serves a lot of purpose, considering that they just spent the last 2+ years completely revaluing themselves in the community's eyes by building these great products. So they would take that forward momentum away. The other thing I'm concerned about is, as much as there might be some people in the community that like the rag on AtGames, they do have a business history, and changing their names might make it harder for them to go out and secure licenses and other things like that, get their products in stores without that retail history. They'd have to then re-explain, like, we used to be AtGames. I'm a person that rebranded the name of a business once or twice, and it's a very hard battle uphill, especially putting a ton of money into marketing to change your name. It's not as simple as we'll change our name and people have a new approach of us. You got to put so much money into it, it might just not be worth it.
Yeah, guys, it is kind of hard to drink a beverage with a mask on. Great points, Michael B. Great points all around. So, did they release their firmware? I don't think they released their firmware today, did they?
Yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, it was yesterday.
Yeah, I got a notice that there was a firmware update, I think.
Is the latest firmware 5.55? Is that the latest firmware?
My machine says there's a update, I think, there in the background.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Have some suds, Zero. There you go. The AtGames Atari on a stick with old-fashioned paddles is my favorite. There you go. Let's see here. Bobby says PDUBS is rebranding I Hate Mondays. Big risk there. Absolutely not. I could call that show whatever I want, and it's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Ain't that right, Michael B. the Game Genie? We'll just make sure it's exciting, entertaining, and all that kinds of stuff. Firmware was yesterday. Okay, good. Yeah, firmware was yesterday. I didn't update the firmwares yet. Make sure you guys participate in their pinball tournament. Win some ArcadeNet codes for Halloween. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, your firmware fixed a bug. And where's Batman? Unfortunately, B-Kong, Nostalgia had a little bit of a family emergency thing, so he couldn't be here tonight. So
he's out the streets chasing his skunks. He's got a skunk farm.
He's chasing skunks. I love it. I love it. Man, this is so uncomfortable. It's hard to focus. But other than that, not much going on in the world of AtGames. Arcade1Up is busy right now because they got all kinds of new products coming out. New products are finally shipping, being received. We do know that if you guys are interested in the Toy Shock pinball line, a bunch of Toy Shock pinball machines actually landed, and they're at the ports. They finally got off the boat, but now they're waiting to go to Walmart, waiting for a truck to pick them up and head to Walmart. So if you're looking for that Toy Shock, what is that? Toy Shock Black Hole cabinet, as well as more Haunted House cabinets. Those are going to be on their way to Walmart and posted online very soon. So it's nice to see some products are making their way through the ports. Yeah, let's talk Arcade1Up, man. Because
before we do, in Canada, there's a third option too, a class of 1812 cabinet.
Out
in the wild.
No, I think the Canadians are getting the class of 1812, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, is that the 1.2 version or 1.3?
I think it's the 1.3.
Yeah, it's the 1.3 with the improved board and all that good stuff.
Now, has everyone received their replacement boards that they purchased? Are you aware of that? Is there a status update on those?
To my knowledge, everyone who was waiting for one got one. To my knowledge.
Okay.
But yeah, there you guys go. All right, Michael B. What Arcade1Up? There's a lot going on there. Which one do you want to kick off with first?
I guess a lot of people were expecting Simpsons earliest. I know you checked the port data there a while back, and you said some Simpsons cabinets had hit the shores, but it seems like X-Men, it was actually the first one to get out to people's homes, and a couple people have been posting on the groups. They've already got their X-Men cabinets. So I wanted to talk about that. I also wanted to talk about the TMNT cabinets that went out in people's home, and it's going to get into a much more complicated conversation, and I'm going to have to reference something, but let's just talk about X-Men first off. So I don't know if anybody's out there. I saw Digipunk a couple minutes ago said his X-Men's coming on Monday. I have no update when mine's coming, but I'm starting to get excited. New cab time.
So will you get yours at the same time as everybody else, or is Canada running behind?
Well, our dates are listed as ships as of October 31st. So I'm expecting maybe Monday it'll ship. And then we should get it within, it's like 8 to 9 days with Walmart. They're usually pretty good, provided that they actually get their shipment on time.
Now, I thought I saw one person receive their X-Men arcade cabinet from Arcade1Up, right? And how did that thing look? I'll see if I can find a picture of it. I should have saved it before the show.
It looks pretty good. The marquee looks really super washed out from the picture they posted. And Turtles look really washed out too. So I can't really make a comment by that. I mean, whenever you see an Arcade1Up marquee in a picture, like it's hard to tell. I tried to get some information from the people that posted what it looked like in person, but I never really got a response. So, I'm interested to see. I know John D said that they didn't do any downgrades in the quality of the material, but there's always been a question of the quality of, I guess it's the sticker that they use behind those marquees, especially ones that are black or darker. Like usually the light bleeds through those pretty easily. So they don't seem to be the highest quality stickers on those marquees.
Yeah, I know that's the case with my Star Wars. It's like it's got some scraped off paint behind the glass or something on the marquee. That's a bummer. Definitely a bummer when that happens.
Geez, that sucks because my Star Wars marquee is beautiful. That's probably the best one I've got from them.
Oh, I don't think this is the X-Men cabinet. Hang on a minute. No, that's a custom cabinet that I think somebody built.
Well, I sent a picture in the group chat. I don't know if you can go back and get that or.
Yeah, let me go find it. Sorry, guys.
Mike Hawk Hurt says he's got Simpsons shipping as well. So we might see Simpsons next week too.
Yeah, we do know that several thousand Simpsons cabinets have landed. So the question is how soon will the retailers have them start shipping them out? That's what we're waiting for, right?
Yeah, so Ryan Battles here in the chat says his new TMNT marquee is super washed out in person. And that's what it looks like in the pictures too.
We have a super chat here, PDUBS.
All right, go ahead and read that off, guys. I'm trying to find Michael B's picture. Did you put it in the Game Room Dudes chat or our one-on-one chat, Mike?
Game Room Dudes.
So it says, if you only have one spot left, but you ordered the 4 new PartyCades to rotate, do you have a problem?
Yeah. So I don't have really any room. Like after I get my new cabs, the only thing I've got left is the inside of my door leading into my arcade. And I'm seriously considering a PartyCade for the inside of my door. That Defender one, if we get that in Canada. Oh, man. Gorf, Sinister.
Yeah, someone said they ordered the Defender. So they're happy that they'll finally have the right layout for the buttons. Yeah, Defender's a pretty difficult game if you don't have the buttons where your memory is for them.
Yeah. So there's
guys. Yeah, go ahead.
There's the X-Men cab. You can see from the marquee. I mean, wow. So
wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't look that way in person, but yeah, those things are tough to capture properly.
Yeah.
No matter which cabinet you have.
Oh my goodness, guys, look at that marquee. Maybe it was the light. Maybe it's because he's using a cell phone camera. That marquee does not look good. It definitely looks washed out. But as we know, with a lot of these Arcade1Up marquees, they do look washed out from far away. But when you're actually in front of it, they look decent. So it's like they look good from like a 2-foot radius from the cabinet. And then once you step further back, they start washing out. But there's your X-Men cabinet, guys, with its light-up control deck. Nice that. But then here's a win. Everyone's loving the new coin doors.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, that looks much better. Much better.
Yeah. And I actually like how, the optic blast here feeds into the red trim. Like, I think that looks kind of cool on the riser right there. But, guys, let us know. What do you guys think of this? In the live chat, you guys like this X-Men 4-player cabinet? Are you getting any FOMO? Or do you have one on the way? Let us know. Throw it in the chat. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I have one on the way. There's a couple things I'm a little bit concerned with all the cabinets that are coming out right now. I don't know who's doing the coding on them, but and I don't know if it's a speaker issue. I know it's not a speaker issue now, but there seems to be some kind of problem with the audio on all the newest cabs, which I think we should talk a little bit about later. So I know Turtles had really weak audio, and Big Blue has kind of weak audio too. I'm nervous about that. But the thing I am nervous about is if you look closely at this X-Men cabinet, I noticed in some of the pictures John D was sharing last week, it has a different cab shape, the new cab shape, and it's very similar to what happened with the legacy cabinets. It looks like the marquee is actually almost 1 inch to 2 inches shorter than the marquee with the old standard cabinet. And I'm wondering, I know the screen is going to be more rotated than in the other legacy cabinets, but are we going to have another viewing angle issue with this cabinet where it is so much lower?
Now you're saying the people said the audio was bad on this one and the TMT?
On Turtles in Time and Big Blue, so forth, the audio has been not so great. So I'm wondering if this is going to be. I haven't heard anything on X-Men yet, but I'm worried about it.
You know what I would love to see here, PDUBS? I would love to see the Tulsa Arcade riser front plate with that emblem and have that red light, the beam lit up. That would look pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's bad to hear. Now, I have
is my mic not working? Hey, is this thing on? Or is PDUBS just ignoring me again?
He's ignoring you.
Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if PDUBS is ignoring me.
Okay,
two
Carl,
if
what'd
it's-
you say? Did I
if
did
my
I miss it?
microphone just not
What'd you-
working.
Carl,
the
what'd you
two-
say? What'd you say?
Hello. Put a 1
What?
in the chat if PDUBS is ignoring me. A
Oh
2
my
in the
God.
chat if my microphone is just not working. Okay, there we go.
All right, what was your question, Carl?
No, it was a question. I was making a statement. I said I would love to see Tosser Arcades make the front plate for that riser to have his beam light up. You know, he always makes the backlit
Oh yeah,
front plates for the risers. That would be pretty sweet to see with that
yeah.
cabinet.
The light up riser panel. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I'm sure he'll do it.
I'll go one further. I'd like to see one of those laser pointers come out of it, like, you know, the ones you put in front of your cats to make them run around. The beam to actually shoot at me as they come at the cabinet.
Well, your cats would go crazy, and
Oh, yeah.
nostalgia skunks would go crazy as well with that.
Well, I'm not getting X-Men myself personally, so I'm not going to be able to comment on it. So I'll have to look for other reviews and information that gets posted out there by the community. It does seem kind of weird though that the Big Blue cabinet, a lot of people say even on max volume isn't as loud as it could be. And then also you're saying the TMNT. We saw some comments in the live chat. People who have the TMNT, same thing. What is going on with the audio Arcade1Up? Now, here's the good news is these cabinets have Wi-Fi. So if that audio issue can be fixed via some kind of software firmware update, much like how AtGames has continued to tweak the audio settings on their pinball machine, maybe they can push out an update quickly so people can enjoy the sound from these cabinets and not say it's on 15, but it sounds like it's on 5. You know what I mean? So we want these cabinets to rock, but we don't want them to be like, do you remember the Pac-Man 40th wood grain mic where you couldn't turn it above like 2? You put it above 2, that thing was so loud.
Yeah,
it was insanely loud.
I put it on 8, and Huey Lewis came in from Back to the Future and said, "I'm sorry, the cab's just too darn loud."
Your music's just too darn loud.
It's just too darn loud.
There you go, console fanboy. There was your Back to the Future quote
So,
for the show.
I want to talk about this a little bit more because I was calling it Speakergate because I just assumed it was.
Wait. You want to talk about this?
Yes.
Okay, guys, pay attention to Michael B. All right, Mike.
Supposed to go full screen to Michael B.
Wait, the floor is yours, Mike.
So I'm a little disappointed because I've got my Big Blue and the audio is a little weak, so I have to turn.
All right.
Why'd the video come on again?
Because I wanted to make sure you had your just due. Go ahead, buddy.
So with Big Blue, and I'm making a Spinal Tap reference right now. I like to turn all my cabs to 11 for Spinal Tap. But with Big Blue, the audio is so weak compared to the other cabs, especially where it's next to my pinballs. I got to go to the full 15, and I'm going to pull it apart and try to mess around with the speakers a little bit more later. But I got some really good feedback from Retro Stasis, who's here in the chat. We went back and forth a little bit over email, and he was doing some testing with his cabinet. Retro Stasis, I'm sorry to speak for you, but if I remembering the emails correctly, and I think I talked to some other people about this too. They actually tried some modifications with their cabinets with both Big Blue and with Turtles in Time, some other people, and adding in new speakers and even like a subwoofer. I don't know what it is, like a bass booster or something. And they said that didn't improve the issue. So John D also came out and said 100% same speakers we use with all our other cabinets. So that pretty much leaves one thing in the equation, that it's an internal programming issue or something with the PCB. So hopefully there's something they can do, because these new cabinets certainly don't have that wonderful bass we've all been getting from our previous cabinets. I know when I still have the Capcom Legacy unit, plus the Street Fighter. And when, Street Fighter starts up, like bum, 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 one cab's shaking the floor, the other cab's just making a noise.
That's really good information, Mike. I'm glad you shared that with all of us on today's episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. It's out of this world because Michael B. the Game Genie got to have his solo. There you go.
Well, no, just before the show started, my golden T came on the first click. That's the old style, so it's just one click and then the high. And PDUBS was like, "Is that your golden T?" I'm like, "The thing is clear across the room on the lowest setting. Come on." But obviously, you don't have that problem with your Big Blue.
Yeah, it sucks because these cabs, they are awesome. And I mean, they're going through a bit of a difficult situation right now where they raise their prices. So you don't want to see something like this pop up on some of their units. And I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at my cab and then talk to some other people to see if it's the same companies that programmed the last two cabinets, Turtles in Time, and then see who programmed X-Men. And maybe it's a development issue that's going on with the sound.
So to date, the Big Blue is the worst of the worst for sound. Is that what you're saying?
It's not the worst of the worst, but the sound is real weak. Real weak. Bobby Vu said that he had the same issue, but he played with the actual speaker and got it to work. And John D said the same thing on Twitter earlier today. He said, deeper is better. And then he hashtag deeper is better. And I don't think it got linked to the right community he was trying to reach. So
yeah. Well, I hope whatever issues they have with the audio on these cabinets, since they're Wi-Fi enabled, we would love to see these issues get fixed, but fixed promptly. Let's not wait 5 months. You know what I mean? I like what Kev said. Hopefully these firmware updates can come out a lot quicker than that. Someone put in here, no chance of replacement parts. So what's funny is I did open, if you guys have been following the channels, my Big Blue cabinet, unfortunately, is a dead stick. I need a new PCB board. The PCB board that Arcade1Up that came with the unit is dead. The unit just won't even turn on out of the box. I opened a ticket today, and they told me, Mike, remember how they told you they were going to get replacement PCBs in October?
Yeah.
Well, now they sent me an email today on my support ticket saying the PCBs won't be in until end of November. So I'm going to have to do what we talked about.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to swap it. I'm going to have to, return it and get a new one. And fingers crossed the next unit doesn't have the same issue.
Yeah, I think that makes me feel a lot better about my decision to return my Big Blue now, too.
Yeah, this is a smart thing to do with the current state of the world.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. How have you been enjoying the Big Blue, Mike? Have you been getting on there playing some online matches?
No, because I promised AtGames I'd do a bunch of stuff. I've been non-stop doing that for the last 3 weeks, trying to build this arcade cabinet, and I got a couple of reviews I've been working on. So pretty much all my free time has been taken up with that. I'd it kills me because I've got all these cool things. I just bought the Nintendo Switch OLED. I've got Street Fighter 2 Big Blue. I'd love to be out to play these. And honestly, I've been every single waking moment that I'm not working or with my kid, been working on either my BYOL project or this review. I literally finished up minutes before we went live.
Hey, Carl, you want to take care of this super chat for us?
Yeah, Bobby Hands, thanks for the super chat. Bobby Hands says, one big thing that stops me from ordering the most expensive cabs, what if a part goes out? Yeah. And like I said, and what these two are doing, you got to take it back. You're not going to get any replacement parts at this point in time. So if you act fast and get another one at the store, that's the best choice to do here. Let the big guys with the money in their pockets figure out what to do with the broken one.
Now, Michael B., I want you to tell everyone about the Dressercade, and it's time to reveal the truth. You did not build that yourself. You did take a dresser drawer. You took a drawer out of your dresser and turned it into an arcade. Isn't that correct, Mike? Isn't that correct, buddy?
It's not correct, but in retrospect, maybe my design concept wasn't the best idea because it kind of does look like the bottom dresser of a drawer. So I understand what you're saying.
Well,
Now it's painted.
If I can quote Nostalgia, he said he has never seen anybody cut any straighter lines than what you have on that Dressercade.
Yeah,
he says, without a doubt.
I did some straight line cutting. So, anyways, I'm pretty much just about done now. I'm going to tell you a funny story. So, I thought the reviews that we are releasing tomorrow were supposed to go live on Sunday. So I thought I had another day to work on that. So my plan was to finish up my BYOL build today. And then Cool Toy posted his video, and I was like, is he breaking embargo? But it turns out I had the embargo date wrong. So then I had to rush my ass all day to finish my review so it's ready for tomorrow.
So what you're saying is tomorrow people are going to be able to see reviews for the Legends Ultimate Mini?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. What time?
Allegedly at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Are you guys excited about seeing those reviews finally? Let us know in the live chat. Kev Gret says, when do we get to see this monstrosity?
I don't know, because also another thing that I'm going to admit to you now, I've never once looked at the rules or how the contest works. So I don't know. I know I've got to have a video submitted to AtGames with my build on Sunday. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. Let's see here. So some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. The embargo actually lifts at 9 a.m. Pacific time, guys. So you'll probably, I don't know what time everyone will start releasing videos. Cool Toy is going to do his at 9:15. Michael B will have a video. I'll have a video. We're thinking Mad Little Pixel might have a video. Maybe a few other guys. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see who has videos, and then some of these cabinets are going to be making their rounds after that, playing round robin with these cabinets. So yeah, so let's see here. Tomorrow we see how good Michael B is at using duct tape.
When I get the build done, I will post pictures so you guys can make fun of me. Don't worry.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we are really enjoying spending Halloween weekend with you guys. We're going to start playing a game here very soon. But if you're new to the show, this is the Super Game Room Dudes, your arcade and gaming podcast show. And there's one thing you can do to help the show grow, and that's this. That's right, guys. If you're enjoying the show, give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button and join the fun here on the Friday Funhouse. Michael B, where'd you go? Uh-oh. Maybe Michael B's going to have a costume change. We'll see.
Maybe he's going to get his whip.
I just need to take my coat off. It's so hot in here. Milk was a terrible choice.
Milk was a terrible choice. I'm trapped in a glass case of emotion. I love that scene from Anchorman. All right. Let's rock and roll. What else is going on in the world of Arcade1Up, Mike? We got some new PartyCades that actually look interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I've never been a PartyCade guy. As you guys know, I'm a 3/4 Arcade1Up snob. But I'm a diva. But these new cabinets look pretty cool, especially that Defender one. I mean, you've got the appropriate control layout. Then it's also got Sinister and it's got Gorf. I mean, that is hot, hot, hot. I know PDUBS loves Super Pac-Man, so of course that's the first one that comes up.
Yep, Super Pac-Man here, and it's got a pretty good lineup. And these are only $220 on sale at QVC, so not too bad. They have this Galaga one. Now, this Galaga one, take a look at this. Galaga, Galaxian, Gapless, Galaga 88, King and Balloon, Xevious. Does it say
Bosconian? Oh my God.
Dragon Spirit, Grobda. I don't know which one that is. And Motos. Pretty dang good lineup on this Galaga. And here's what I'm thinking you do, right? I'm thinking you take, if you still are rocking your old Generation 1 Galaga arcade cabinet, right? Your Generation 1 Galaga arcade cabinet with only 2 games on it. Go ahead and buy this thing. Take the monitor, take the bezel, take the controls, take the encoder board, gut this thing, and go stick it in your original 3/4 scale Arcade1Up. $200 upgrade for those who want to do something like this. But this is, yes, Zero Hero.
I remember I made a video and I was posting and I was very upset because the Galaga 40th cabinet was just a reskinned Nameco Legacy, right? They didn't add the Galaga games we deserve, right? And on this should have been the Galaga 40th cabinet. This games list is fantastic in my opinion. Go ahead, Mike. What were you gonna say?
Bosconian. Yeah, but like I mean, Jeff Rainwater freaked out about it too. Like, there's some really, really cool, like long time, very highly desired arcade games being released from Arcade1Up in these cabinets. I mean, Gorf, Sinister, Bosconian, like so much good stuff. I don't care about Clax. I know a lot of other people like it, but it's not my jam.
Joust is my game right there. Joust.
Joust?
You guys ever play Joust? That's when you get flying that little ostrich.
Yeah, I love Joust. Love Joust.
It's the game Nintendo stole Balloon Fight from.
But on the Defender version, you got Gauntlet, Defender, Clax, Root Beer Tapper, Bubbles, Joust, Rampage, Wizard of War. Which, speaking of Wizard of War, guys, keep your eyes on Steam. There's an indie developer who made a sequel to Wizard of War, and that's going to be released on Steam tomorrow. So if you guys are into that, just search Wizard of War sequel, or just type in Wizard of War on Steam tomorrow, and the sequel goes live tomorrow. Sinistar and Gorf. But these PartyCades, I gotta say, they have some pretty good game lineups.
These PartyCades are hot right now.
They're like Hansel. He's so hot right now.
Yeah,
So
it's good to see them making a comeback, because they have been in very limited production.
I gotta comment on this. I love Bubbles. I know now a lot of people don't, but I see like Michael Suna says, "Oh yay, Bubbles," and then I see Papa Brad.
My wife
mentions
loves Bubbles.
I love Bubbles, and I'm gonna tell you something that is really surprising. Like I've said a million times, it's a broken record. I live on an island. There's no arcade cabinets available here, but twice in the past year and a half, I've seen a full complete Bubbles cabinet for sale here. Like, how crazy is that? There's nothing, but yet we've had 2 complete Bubbles cabinets.
Let's see here. Mike Hawk says the Defender might be my second choice of the PartyCades after Street Fighter. Buy an iArcade stand for them for just $60 right now. There you go. Do these have lit marquees? Let's see.
I think so.
I don't see it in the list. I don't see it.
Doesn't appear so.
Nope, no marquee. These do not appear to have lit marquees, guys. At least it's not advertised.
It sure looks like it, man.
I mean, that doesn't look lit up, does it? Look at that. Here's your Miss Pac-Man, which, wah.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone screams to be battery operated, it's these things. How you gonna put this on the door and then have a cable running down the back of your door?
Yeah. But let's not forget, DG Imagery points out the feature most needed on these home arcades: coinless operation. It doesn't get any better than that.
But it's funny. I talked about this with John D on Monday when he was on my show for my birthday, and people actually did show up at that Miami Dolphins lounge, and they were like, "This is great. You don't have to use a coin." I was like, "These are the people I guess you advertise coinless operation to."
Okay. And then whatchamacallit? A lot of reviews are popping out. Make sure you check YouTube for the Nintendo Switch Online controllers for the Nintendo 64 and the Sega. People are receiving them, and from what I've seen, a lot of people are digging the Nintendo 64 controller, but not the Sega controller as much. My Sega controller is out for delivery, I don't think until next week, and the Nintendo one was sold out. I couldn't even get my hands on one. Mike, did you get your hands on one?
Oh yeah. I was lucky enough. I can't remember who it was, but someone gave me a heads up. I think it was Garage Gamer, maybe, that they were on sale, and I bought them immediately. It might have been Chris King. I can't remember now. Anyways, I got it immediately, and it was supposed to be here on the 26th, but it never shipped to the 26th. Chris Kingsborough. There it is. I think, Chris, you were the one who gave me the heads up for mine.
Yeah. Now, I haven't signed up for the new Switch, what is that called? Expansion pack until my controllers show up. So I'm waiting for that. So we'll check them out.
I did.
Retrostasis says these have the marquees, but they're not listed in the features unless the listing's just wrong. So we'll have to find out.
Some people said the same thing for the Street Fighter marquee. Street Fighter marquee is lit, but it wasn't listed in the description. And some people are saying these are already out in the UK, and there's videos out showing the marquees being lit.
Yeah. Carl looks fantastic. Howdy, y'all. Great costumes. Expansion pack receiving rough reviews.
The N64 side of it is, yeah.
I like this Star Fox 64 battle. Now, once I get the controllers and stuff, now, Mike, some of these games will be able to play online with each other, right?
Oh, yeah. Mario Kart 64 online?
Yeah, we're totally going to do probably a live stream with that, and you guys can jump in and play that with us as well. We'll broadcast that. That'll be really cool. We're excited about that. Looking at iArcade news, I think they released one new game today. I think it was another
Rising Hell.
No, it was a Taito game. Hang on. Taito, however you want to say. Oh yeah, the New Zealand. Why did I click on NASTAR? We don't want that game. Oh, that's because they released that too. Okay, so they released the New Zealand story today in their online store, as well as they released NASTAR, which is Rastan Saga 2, which is not the good Rastan. So they have Rastan Saga 1, Rastan Part 2, which is otherwise known as NASTAR Warrior, which is not a good game. But then they have that Rastan 3 coming soon. That's the one that I'm looking forward to coming out on their platform. Look at that. Meatball Saucy. My wife walked by and said he looks like Indiana Jones with that hat. There you go. Yes, Rastan 2, NASTAR Warrior. Did any of you guys like that game? Have you played it? It's like really not that good in my opinion. What do you think about that one, Mike? Have you ever tried it?
I've never even played the first one.
Oh, you haven't even played the first one? Carl, you got to get in on that, man. Classics. So hopefully they'll get the third one released soon, because I think that'll be a fun play on that arcade cabinet. But minus that, news there is kind of light. So what I think it is, especially because we're at the 45-minute mark, Mike, we got to get to our game. I think it's time to play Worst of the Worst.
So I can tell you a story. PDUBS earlier today is like, end of the month, guys. I'm so busy. I'm not going to have time to do any assets for the show. This has been the show where we've had the most assets.
You just like saying assets.
I do. It's because of my, what do you call it? Accent.
All right. Guys, were you here last year? Did any of you watch our Halloween spooktacular episode a year ago? Were you a fan of the show? Did you catch it? If you did, throw that in the live chat. If you missed it, if you watched it, put a 1. If you missed it, put a 0. And we'll talk about the reason why that plays into Worst of the Worst. So what's interesting, Mike, is last year when we did our Halloween spooktacular, what we did is we talked about our favorite or the best when it came to best scary Halloween games, best scary movies, best Halloween franchises. Like we kept talking about the best of the best, like our favorites, right? So today we're going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about the worst, right? And that way we can all kind of laugh about what's bad out there, right? So
yeah.
When it comes to the worst of the worst, before we start talking about some movies and some console games, let's talk about the worst of the worst. So when it comes to Arcade1Up, what is the worst Arcade1Up product released to date, in your opinion? Guys, throw it in the live chat. And don't worry, this is a fun topic. Everyone releases something that's not a home run. We're not bashing on anybody. Arcade1Up has released 65 products. Surely, if you rank them, you would have a list of like, these are the worst, right? So here it comes. Here it comes. We got Frogger, PartyCades, any Gen 1 games, PartyCades, large Pac-Man, the Pac Stick, any Pac-Man cab, Frogger, Risers, Rampage, man, that's coming in fast. Pac-Man. A lot of Froggers in here, Mike. And Mike, you love Frogger, don't you?
I do.
Okay, so let's go around the horn here. Let's start with Mike, because Mike, I know this pains you to talk about, but in your opinion, worst product Arcade1Up has ever released?
So it's hard for me to answer because I can only say the worst that I've had. I can talk about what I thought was worst in concept that I never bought, which was those plug and play consoles. They look terrible. So I think that's the worst thing I've seen that they've released. Maybe the ProjectorCade's right up there with that. But the worst that I've experienced from Arcade1Up is probably, people are going to hate this, but the Capcom and Midway Legacy cabinet design, just how they didn't think that through with the ledges and with the line of sight issue. For me, from all the products I've bought from Arcade1Up, that's been the most disappointing.
That's a good one, Mike. I'll give you that one, because that was interesting, because I liked in like your videos where you did the videos where you doing the arcade splits, trying to see the screen, get yourself lower. I remember that. That was pretty funny. What about you, Carl? In your opinion, what is the biggest opportunity for improvement product Arcade1Up has ever released?
One that
Because it's scary.
One that definitely deserves to be redone and redone right. It's the Rampage. Rampage, in my mind, was their worst product. They had the Gauntlet on there, but only got 3 players. You know what I mean? That's prior to the 4 players coming out. That also had Defender, correct?
Yeah.
On the Rampage, without the buttons.
It did.
Without the buttons being right, and you had to cross over and try to play the thing. So in my mind, without a doubt, Rampage was the worst cabinet they've ever made.
So that Rampage cab had Defender, but it was called Extra Hard Defender because you actually had to jump your hand over joysticks to get to the buttons.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, it would have to be, and keep in mind, I haven't owned every product they've ever released, but I think it's a tie for me. The giant Pac-Man joystick, which I have downstairs, is absolutely horrible because of what they did with the final design. The design they had at CES, those things actually look pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it looked like Pac-Man.
It looked like Pac-Man, right? And obviously things happened there and they redesigned it. And the final version that came out, literally, it looks like a platypus. It looks like a duck. It doesn't look like Pac-Man. It's got this yellow ball with this bill on it, which is supposed to be a handle so you could lift it. And it looks like a duck, or a platypus. It just looks weird. It doesn't look anything like Pac-Man. And of course, it comes with that HDMI console that comes with that the same console that they sell separately with those handhelds. So in my opinion, that's a tie for me, is those micro HDMI consoles with those game pads, which were so bad, and then tied with the giant joysticks, I think was the biggest just total waste of their time. They never should have went those rounds. went on those products. All right, so let's talk iArcade. So iArcade, now iArcade's only got one product, right? So the way you have to position it is, because we're talking Halloween, scary, worst, what is the worst thing that iArcade has done, either with their cabinet design or game? What would you like, worst game or something about the cabinet? Go ahead and throw it in the live chat, guys.
Definitely the worst thing for me with iArcade is 2 things. Not having the backlit marquee that disturbs me to this day. That's the only cabinet over there that's dark. You know what I mean? And then the shape of it. You've had people that made the add-on things, but now it's like 20 foot tall. You know what I mean? So by far, lack of a marquee, because of the speaker placement, that kind of eliminates what you can do with it. And the fact that they have these huge speakers with how many gigawatts of power they have on there?
1.21.
1.21, and then their logo comes up as quiet as a mouse in a church mouse. So those are 2 things that are the scariest things about the iArcade.
Okay, Michael B., what about you?
It was the Vaseline filter for the retro games. Drove me nuts. Luckily, it's been corrected. I also want to give a shout out to Mutant Football League. That's a really sad situation, and it's pretty tough that happened like it did.
Yeah. I think, I understand Jong doing the whole wanting to do the candy cab design and stuff like that, but I would agree with Carl. Probably the not having a light up marquee, especially for the cost, and then the actual shape of the cabinet. Can you imagine if they went with a design that looked a little bit like what Arcade1Up is doing now with like the Killer Instincts and the
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles and all that kinds of stuff, guys? If that cabinet looked more like that iArcade, I think a lot of people would have been more prone to purchase it who didn't purchase it before, right?
So it's funny because when you see those, like especially the early prototypes for Arcade1Up, the Legends Ultimate, and the iArcade, like you honestly stop yourself and ask, have they never been to an arcade? Because none of them look like arcade cabinets.
That's true.
Yeah, but definitely the original design of the iArcade was by far probably the scariest thing. Yeah, some people may say it's cute.
The white, the iPhone.
Yeah, but for an arcade, it just wasn't going to resonate with people that was looking for the arcade experience. Yeah. So I'm glad he switched that part of it and changed the designs and gave us what PDUBS have back there, and what I have with the Double Dragon. Definitely made those things sellable and definitely worth adding to the game room.
Yeah, I mean, but let's look at a few things that they've done that are good right now for them, though. Is they've added a track mode, they've added jukebox mode, they've got 270 some games. They're starting to get better games, like they're adding a whole bunch of Taito games. They're actually adding some interesting modern games like Retromania Wrestling, Dead Cells. I really like this game because it's a Halloween themed episode. That Rising Hell,
that looks good.
That Rising Hell game is super fun on this cabinet. Yeah. Go ahead, Carl.
All that is great, but none of that matters because this is the worst of the worst show. Next.
Next.
And then let's talk AtGames now. AtGames has released a plethora of products and different form factors of their ecosystem. So which one is the one that we don't like the most? Michael B, what are your thoughts there about AtGames?
I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. I haven't had all their products. I mean, I can't answer that right now. That's the best way I'll say it.
Well, I can start. For AtGames, for me, the worst thing was the original design of that pinball machine. You guys remember that? The way that thing looked? It was long and skinny. That thing was crazy. I'm so glad they made the changes. They still didn't get the front part of the pinball machine quite right, design-wise, but it's a far cry from what the original plan was going to be. And so that, to me, was the scariest thing that AtGames have ever done. Because, again, I have never been there for the stuff that people talk about in the past. But that they dodged a bullet with that original design of the AtGames Legend pinball.
Yeah. I mean, for me, probably I had their old Sega console. Like, I think they released 2 of them, if I recall.
More than two.
AtGames. But you know the one that was kind of like the micro Sega, the smaller version of the Sega, not the. I think the last one they released was pretty decent. But that one that was the mini, like when Sega got re-released and the shape of the unit looked different, and AtGames did a version. Oh my god, that thing was horrible. It was horrible. That plus I'm not a fan of these Legends gamepad controllers that just came out. Let's see here. But then I mean I think that's about it. Go ahead.
So I have to go back to your statement. So the mini Genesis they came out with didn't look anything like the Sega Genesis Model 3 that was released. So I understand that it was small. That's the only real correlation to it, but it wasn't very good. It had really good games, really good console games, but the sound was all messed up. Everybody hated the sound. The sound emulation was terrible. The one cool thing they did with those mini consoles was the fact that you could actually plug in real Genesis games and play them on the mini console as well as the games that already came on it. So that was really decent. The controllers they sold with it were shit. Basically, it sucked. So it's a shame I never bought one, and I was pretty close to buying the last one. But I'm glad I waited out, and I'm glad I got the latest Genesis Mini from M2. It's not perfect, but it's pretty dope.
But despite the fact that sometimes these companies are going to stumble, they're going to trip, they're going to fall, they're going to make mistakes, or they're going to release something that's not perfect, you have to admit the last 2 years have been super exciting for all of us because we have so many things in our home now that we never thought possible just a couple of years ago. And that's thanks to Arcade1Up, that's thanks to AtGames, that's thanks to iArcade, New Wave Toys, Numbskull, etc.
Well played, Arcade. Well played, Arcade.
No, not well played, Arcade. So we really get upset when they stumble and fall. But when they hit home runs, we all feel like kids again, in my opinion. Do you think that's a fair statement, Mike?
Totally fair. Totally fair. I mean, like the ALP. Like, if you ever want to see a story on how far AtGames has come, get an AtGames Legends pinball.
Yeah. And this criticism is important so that they continue to develop and grow. We've watched that with Arcade1Up from the Gen 1 to the Gen 5, or wherever they are now, is night and day. Just looking at even that the cabinet you showed earlier that was at the X-Men, with the kick plate there. I mean, how long did it take for them to get that kick plate to look nice like that? But we keep on complaining about the things that they need to change, and they listen and they get to correct the future products. And so that's the whole point of all this, is to be brutally honest about things so that their products can improve.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
And while you're doing that, and the fact that the prices are going up on all these cabinets, it just makes it even more important that they fix those things and continue to make these things better.
Yeah. I mean, these companies have tried to keep us posted on what's going on. iArcade has been the most transparent. AtGames, I think, second most transparent. Arcade1Up, you have to admit, with John D returning, although he's a very polarizing figure, at least we're getting some information, right? Some information, and it's generating some excitement, some enthusiasm. Because when they went dark for months, people got pissed. And I'm not just talking about guys on YouTube looking for content to film. I'm talking general fans were like, what the hell? This company doesn't talk to us anymore. You know what I mean? And, although John and I have had our differences and we've kind of apologized like men and agreed to move forward, I'm happy to see he's back. But then again, sometimes he irks me, and I'm sure I irk him as well. So, it is what it is, right?
Mikey J Productions has a comment here. Never any Unico news. We never any Unico love, but we don't have any news. Like they've got new products coming.
We will. Yeah, guys, what we can tell you is that they are going to be announcing a whole bunch of stuff imminently. That information is under embargo. It's being sent to media as well as YouTubers, not just YouTubers, press releases, etc. These video game tech websites that usually run articles on this stuff. So, guys, there will be a bunch of information from Unico coming soon. Don't write them off just yet. If I say anything else, I will violate their embargo and really piss them off. But that's what I can tell you is information will be coming very soon from them.
I think Unico hates me because they were supposed to send me the whatchamacallit, the MVSX. That's still at Restalgia's house. They never sent a label. They don't send me out the information.
Look, Michael,
I think they just like screwing with me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves you, so you got to have somebody that can't stand you. I mean, you can't.
Oh, that's
be loved. You can't be loved by everybody. Come on, man. but while we're talking about the worst of the worst, I did want to mention the Oculus. Because I don't know, most people just put a link in the chat. The way they built these things, they had that material, that soft material. If you played any game that you moved quite a bit, that thing was soaked with sweat, and it would irritate a lot of people's face. So they came out with this option for you get this little free silicone cover that you can put over, and that blocks that. And plus, if you share with other people, you can then wipe that stuff down with a wipey, whatever.
I need to get that.
So that was free. So I put the link in the chat to be able to sign up. It's for free. it took a while to come. Now I had already had one that's a little better quality that I got from Amazon. So this one's much better than what theirs are, but this fits on there fine. The only real difference is the nose part here. They have this little split here. But when you put this thing on, it works really nice to get to allow your face not to the sweat not to soak into that cover. So I definitely, if you have an Oculus, you definitely want to sign up for this free silicone cover.
There you go. There you go. Did you put the link in the chat?
I did.
There you go. Thanks, Carl. Guys, that's actually a pretty cool tip from Carl. I need to sign up for that because I'm a hot, sweaty guy when I'm playing games standing up. So absolutely. Your average gamer says, "Don't knock over your monitor." We heard a bang. I was on the edge of my seat watching Carl. I was like, "Is he gonna knock over?"
Yeah, I was knocking over
again?
these. But while we're on Oculus, I do want to say that Resident Evil 4 is nice.
Nice.
It's so immersive. I mean, I remember playing the original Resident Evil with the wonky controls. Now you get to walk in the real world and be immersed into it. If you have an Oculus Plus, definitely check out Resident Evil 4. It is pretty sweet. And the other game I'm playing on Oculus now too is the Golf 5 E-Club. That is pretty good. A pretty good golf game.
Oh, if Restalgia was here right now, he'd be giggling like a girl hearing you talk about Oculus. He'd be like, "Ooh, it's Oculus time! You played that game, Red? Ooh, that's Restalgia when everybody talks about Oculus."
Nostalgia loves his Oculus. Like, I think he sleeps in it. I really do.
Oh yeah.
We had a question in the chat. They're like, "Who has the SNK license now?" So what's interesting, guys, is that SNK license, I believe a good chunk of it, maybe about 40-50% ownership, is now owned by some wealthy Saudi Arabian royal family. And from what I've heard, I'm not going to mention which companies. I talked to one of these arcade companies. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to name names. And I asked them, I said, "Are you going to be able to work with that royal family over in Saudi Arabia to, get rights to the SNK games?" And they said, "Do you know how almost impossible that is?" They said it was a big challenge. So will any of these arcade games get, SNK licenses? I mean, it's possible, right? But it sounds like it's a little more challenging with that royal family overseas. That's just what I've heard. That's all I know about it. So there you guys go. But they own a good chunk of that license. Go ahead, Mike.
So a couple people in the chat said, "I bet you Unico got the Capcom license." Do you really think Arcade1Up's going to let that go?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, you know what would be nice would be if some of these companies would share licenses, right?
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah. I mean,
why would you share?
To be nice, Mike.
Nah.
You think they're gonna hog it?
Why would you give up a competitive advantage if you did have an exclusive license?
To make money. You're making money off of somebody else.
You're not making money. Maybe Capcom would make some money.
What if you own a license?
Yeah.
But you own a license to distribute a game. And it's a game you have no intention on ever turning into an arcade cabinet or putting on an arcade cabinet. Why not let someone else who's willing to put it on their platform and you collect some money for it? Why not?
Yeah, that's fine. But
it's all about making money. It's all about making money.
Capcom, why would Arcade1Up let somebody else have Street Fighter on their...
Oh, I'm not talking about something like that. I'm talking about like the smaller stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, they will not share Capcom. I don't see that happening as well.
Yeah, and John D's mentioned it. UAG just brought it up. They shared some Sega stuff with iArcade. They, so.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. See, people can work together.
Totally.
Papa Brad says, "Locking them out. Lock them out. You better lock it up." Why does Capcom give out exclusive licenses? They already license games to other companies. That dinky little mini Capcom arcade cabinet wasn't produced internally or by Arcade1Up. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
It's a different form factor and a different market, so I don't know how it works. It all depends on the wording of the contracts, I would assume.
Okay, so whatchamacallit? So where were we? We're talking about worst of
So the
worst,
mystery
right?
encoder, by the way, is Nostalgia. I just want to get that out there.
Yeah, he's here now trolling us in the live chat.
Yeah, because Nostalgia is the only person who's like, hey, you know what Super Game Room Dudes is missing? Live gameplay. Instead of talking about the news, let's just play games and hang out.
Yeah, that's got to be. Yeah, that's what Nostalgia wants to do. He just wants to play games. But we polled our audience. They want a podcast show. They want the conversation. They want to do games every now and again, which we'll end up doing in the future.
Yeah.
But taking a look here, Mike. So thinking about when it comes to those mini consoles, PlayStation, Sega, Commodore C64, etc., Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Guys, let us know in the live chat which one was your favorite, which one was your worst, which one is the worst of the worst. Go ahead, Michael B.
Well, I mean, my personal favorite, not because it's the best, but just because I never thought we'd get it, was the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. Like, I love that thing. Like, it's so good.
Mhm.
It's not a mini. It's not a mini at all. I don't know how you call something that's 3/4 the size of the original system a mini, but I love the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. The worst, I think we covered it. It has to be probably one of those AtGames consoles. I never really tried some of the other stuff. There was like a Commodore 64 Mini that came out with like the Oregon Trail on it. I didn't try that, but it looks like you're probably going to run with one of those AtGames Sega consoles is the worst. Oh, PlayStation Classic was pretty bad too. Although Nostalgia, the mystery encoder, loves it for retro. What is it? RetroArch on it and playing other stuff.
Well,
A lot of folks. Go ahead.
I disagree with Michael B. That TurboGrafx 16 was the worst mini. All the games on there sucked. Every game.
That's just because you're not cultured. It's not my fault you're not cultured.
They didn't have one game that I can enjoy playing. That thing has been sitting in the box since.
Because you're
you want
not
me to ship it over to Canada? You got any little nephews or somebody I can send it to?
I will definitely take a second one. Yes, absolutely. I'll not hack it.
You can have it as a coaster.
I think Nintendo missed an opportunity here. Like, they want to put their games online, but like the Nintendo 64, right? But why not just make an N64 Mini? You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like, that I would have rather had that than signing up for this subscription service. So.
Yeah,
I agree.
But Nintendo, for whatever reason, decided that there was a bigger market in their online service and doing these controllers. I think that they saw other people jumping the shark and getting on the mini console market and said, screw it, we'll just do the controllers and do the online service.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that. Like, there's a number of consoles, people are throwing them in the live chat that if they made minis, I'm sure we would have bought them. If they made a Dreamcast Mini, a Sega Saturn Mini, someone put that in the live chat, Hollywood Polo. Like, I'm pretty sure if they kept releasing these, we're going to keep buying them. You know what I mean? So I would have loved an N64 Mini. Yeah. I would take a Dreamcast Mini or a Saturn Mini if those came out. Absolutely.
And I actually wanted the Super Nintendo Mini, but I could never get it. They sold out. I ended up getting a bootleg one that was horrible. But they stopped producing them. So I missed out. I missed the boat on that. I would have much rather had that TurboGrafx. I think I might have to send it over to Canadian Feel.
Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I pretty much have all the minis. I think tied for the worst would be the PlayStation with actually the Commodore 64 Mini, because it didn't come with a real keyboard. You know what I mean? It came with this fake keyboard thing. It's like, but you actually had to get the bigger one, the full recreation for like $130 some bucks in order to get that real keyboard. So I thought that was like a waste. Like, why get the Commodore 64 Mini that has a fake keyboard attached to it that you can't use, and you have to plug in another keyboard to that keyboard? You know what I mean? Like, I just thought it was totally stupid. And of course, nobody likes the PlayStation Classic unless you hack it and add a whole bunch of games to it and stuff. I think my favorite one, probably the one I played the most, was I know you guys keep talking about the TurboGrafx, and yes, I have the TurboGrafx, and I also have up there. I have unopened, still wrapped the PC Engine, which is the same thing one. I still have that unopened up there. I really liked the Sega Genesis Mini that not AtGames did, but the one, the most recent one that came out. And you guys know I'm a big Sega fan, Sega over Nintendo. That Sega Genesis Mini I really enjoyed.
The M2 one, the one done by M2.
Yeah, the M2. That's the company. Like I really like that mini console.
So I got a question for you. I don't know if you guys remember this. When I first went on the Loft Report with you guys, it was me and Nostalgia, and we were talking about the Genesis Mini all the way back then because we were talking about something else too. And Nostalgia kept calling M2 3M. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. He was just thinking of, because 3M is a big company, right? Like you need tape or some shit. There you got 3M, right? The best game ever was Samantha Fox Strip Poker. There you go. Mystery Coder. Look, Nostalgia. He remembers.
Yeah. Ryan Beddoes got it right there. That's what we need. The Dreamcast Mini. That's what we need.
I have some of these crack sticks, those True Blue crack sticks. They call them crack sticks because you're like a crackhead, which is kind of funny. But it's just these little USB sticks that you plug into your PlayStation Minis, and it has a whole bunch of other games on them. I have a few of those, and I that made the PlayStation Mini better for me as well. I have a couple of those.
Yeah, but I get now we're adding a different element to this. What's the best to mod? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're
this is a shoot from the hip conversation, buddy. There's no rules.
Shoot from the hip. All right.
Yeah. Shoot from the hip, like the Terminator 2 cabinet. Let's talk about that. Shooting from the hip.
That's coming out. Pre-order is coming out November 1st, and it's going to be interesting. So, I know it's a big risk from Arcade1Up to release a cabinet with one game, and people are upset. We'll see. I think Vic Vicious is sucking up to you. Eternal Champions is not the best Genesis game.
Well, everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Eternal Champions on Sega, so thank you so much, Vic. And I think we even did that stream where I showed you guys a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that the creator of the game sent me. And you know what's funny, guys, is we talked, we said, let's get him on the show. We want to interview him. And he's all about it. He's like, yeah, I would love to come on your show. We could talk about the whole creation of Eternal Champions and all that kinds of stuff. And I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be exciting. But he didn't want to be on camera. Like it would have been like a black box with just, him talking, which, like, guys, in my opinion, and much respect to him, in my opinion, like, if I can't see you, I don't want to interview you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to interview a black box. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he could have been like the singers that,
I don't want to do that. You know?
Yeah, he could have been like the singers that Milli Vanilli sang for, and they just just never would do good on camera. I
just don't think it looks good. You know what I mean? Like, we interviewed AtGames and the Blaze team, and when they did that, like, and I went back and I watched the replay. I looked at it and I was like, I don't really like the way this looks. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to do this again. You know what I mean? Oh, no. Well, you have to keep your identity hidden. So don't worry. We understand why, Mr. Encoder. I'm talking about if I'm interviewing a company talking about a legit thing, or a developer talking about a legit thing, not something that's, borderline.
The mystery encoder, that would work well for him behind him.
The mystery encoder also works full time for AtGames.
Yeah, I just really I want to see you, and my audience wants to see you.
He probably has curly locks too, lush curly locks.
Like, I know, so
pick those up on the shuttle box.
Yeah, Michael Suna, he goes, "Why is everyone so upset with one game? Real arcades had one game." That's a good question.
I'm not being upset with. No. Hey, listen, Vic Vicious. I'm not. I don't think you're sucking up. I know the difference. I know it's PDUBS' favorite game. I was just trying to roast PDUBS a little bit about Eternal Champions. That's all, brother.
I love Eternal Champions. All right, keep going.
I'm not. I don't. I don't have a problem with the one game personally. I've talked about this a lot. Like when I go out there and I play my Arcade1Ups, I'm mainly buying the Arcade1Up for the marquee game because that's what the art is, and hopefully the control schematics are as well. But I know that the community always says there's just not enough games on these cabinets. They went in a direction where they started adding 12. People seemed a lot happier with it. So it seems weird that you regress and you only have one game on the cabinet. And I know people are going to be upset on the one game based on their complaints, even with 4 and 5 games sometimes. So I don't have a problem with it, but other people certainly do. They don't see the value that they're getting for the price, even though it is a recreation of the arcade cabinet. But then we have other questions about it too. I mean, it's a recreation of an arcade cabinet, but it's not authentic. I mean, it's sitting in light gun technology. It's not the original gun technology. And, you know, when we first saw that, we said, well, that's probably to fit with the other games, but there are no other games. So, I mean, T2 is awesome. It's a really cool thing they're doing, but it's also a stretch in many ways from the fact that they're going against the grain, only having one game, and it doesn't have accurate recreation of the arcade experience.
Yeah, those are great points, Mike. And, you know, recreating the arcade experience means a lot to some people. And then to others, more casual fans, it doesn't matter, right? Like, you know, T2, it's gonna sell. People are gonna buy it. Just like people bought the TMNT cabinets, the X-Men cabinets, the Simpsons cabinets. Even though this panel here, we passed on some of those, right? But then again, I think that's why Arcade1Up's just gonna keep doing what they're doing, right? Because it's gonna sell anyway, right? $800 cabinet. One game with light guns versus potentiometers, it's still going to sell, and it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I pick up T2? Unfortunately not. I've been thinking about it, and although it's a good cabinet to have, like from an appearance point of view, one game, unless some mods come out for it, some soft mods, Mystery Encoder, we're looking at them. We're looking at you, bro.
Brostalgia.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Brostalgia. You know, I could play T2 light gun games on my PC here, as on MAME, as well as like on my AtGames cabinets back there. So I don't see the need to do this one. You know what I mean? So yeah, T2 not for me. Killer Instinct though, because I want to take part in all the online fighting and stuff. I might get Killer Instinct, but I don't think I'm going to buy it right away. I think I'm going to wait until it comes out and reviews come out and people tell me how good the emulation is and all that kinds of stuff. And as long as it's running really, really well, I might get Killer Instinct because I just want to take part in that stuff, you know.
And you may never get one if you wait as well. So that's also a risk.
Yeah, that's the new reality too. I mean, it's pretty tough because they're coming out in limited quantities. Like, I'll give you an example. Big Blue is no longer available through Walmart here in Canada. You can't buy it anymore. It's gone already.
Yep. A lot of folks saying T2 must be terminated. Revolution X will be worth it if they can get the license. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm going to ask you a question. They're paying a bunch of money for the license to Terminator 2. Revolution X is even going to be more expensive because you got to get Aerosmith on board. Then you've got music rights. So why would they pay an insane amount of money for a secondary game on the cabinet that's not going to really sell it, not going to be the marquee game? Like, I don't think we're getting Revolution X, guys.
Real quick, what Pliskin's talking about here, guys, is Numbskull, who makes those quarter arcades. They released a video on their YouTube channel, I think about 2 weeks ago, saying, hey guys, due to challenges, they're having issues with the wood, getting the wood prices, and they're like, hey, we can release our cabinets but make them out of plastic. Let us know what you think. Like, they took a survey and people were all over social media, their Facebook pages, their Twitter, commenting on their YouTube videos, I'm sure on the survey as well, saying we would rather wait and get wood cabinets versus them switching to plastic.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Pliskin, they did make an announcement on their Facebook page saying, okay, guys, we heard you. We're going to go with wood, but it's going to take longer or something of that nature. So you might want to look into what's going on there. Minus seeing that post from them that I don't think they're going to go plastic now, which I'm glad they're not, because if it was a plastic arcade like this big, it would have felt way too much like a toy. You know what I mean?
It's the wood that makes it good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they said they heard us loud and clear. That is correct. So, yep, might want to double check that with them, buddy. Hey, if Arcade1Up can use cardboard, Numbskull can too. It's pretty funny. What about you, Carl? Terminator 2? You haven't made any videos or told anyone. Is this going to happen?
No, I mean, again, it's not a game I played growing up. I have no ties to it. Definitely, I was never a fan of the 2 games in the arcade cabinet, so definitely wouldn't be a fan of the 1. It's a no for me.
Hey, Carl, I know that about you. You're a multicade man. I know you. I can smell it. You're a multicade man.
You dirty, dirty man.
Yeah. If I bought it, I would try to mod it and play all the shooters on it for sure.
Yeah, well, I think Arcade1Up is kind of banking on that too. I mean, that's a non-said term, but they know the same way that AtGames knows. Like, if you maybe leave a door open, people will buy something much like they bought these classic consoles we talked about earlier, and then figure out a way to make it into some kind of multicade. And I think maybe that's what's reinforced their decision to release this with 1 game, knowing people are going to hack the shit out of it anyways and put all kinds of other stuff on it.
All right, guys, real quick here. I want to switch because we're almost out of time. When it comes to your horror film franchises, we're talking franchises, multiple movies, minimum 3 movies. What is the worst horror franchise of all time, guys?
Scream. Scream is the worst. I hate it.
All right. Carl, tell us why the Scream film franchise is the worst.
Oh, those things that I just can't get it to. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's a horror movie. It's not good. I hate them. They make me scream, and not in a good way.
You're not cultured. That's just it. You're just not cultured.
I'm just not.
You don't like whodunits. That's it.
It's horrible.
We got Leprechaun. Hank Slight doesn't like the Child's Play movies.
I agree.
Troll.
Leprechauns are horrible. Leprechauns terrible.
All right. For me, the Human Centipede franchise. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Terrible. I just don't even understand why those movies were made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, Human Centipede for me, worst horror franchise ever. Don't even watch them. Yeah, don't even do it. It's just terrible.
It's sick. Michael B.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's not the worst franchise of all time, but there's one movie in it that really takes the cake, and it's Howling, and the movie is Howling 3: The Marsupials. It had to be the worst horror movie I've ever watched in my entire life. I like the rest of the series, but Howling 3: Marsupials is so bad, it brings the rest of the series down too. I know everybody knows Howling 2, My Sister's a Werewolf, the guy with the tuba, the saxophone, but Marsupials is by far the worst horror movie ever made.
Okay. We got some nice comments here in the chat, guys. So a lot of people are saying Leprechaun. But Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms,
yo.
Don't forget that. We all love that. You know what's funny is oh my god, I just lost my train of thought there. No, I like the Saw movies. I enjoyed the Saw series. Like I really did.
Hey, Majanian, you take that back. Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 was fantastic too. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1 and Part 2 were good-ass movies. Now, I am going to tell you what is actually the worst horror franchise of all time. And I'm betting you two guys up top have never heard of this. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
It's called Witchcraft. And if you can tell me when it stopped being a movie series and started being porn, I would be surprised because I can't differentiate.
Yeah. Now, Jason here, I do agree with you that Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, is the worst movie in the Freddy series.
No, sir.
Yeah, it is. It's the worst. It's the worst.
Absolutely incorrect.
No, it's the worst.
Dream Child is the worst.
What?
Dream Child, Part 5.
I liked it when they did the Dream Warriors, the Dream Master, the Dream Child, like how all three of those movies, it was like one big story arc, right? One big story arc.
Yep.
Versus the Freddy's Revenge, which was like, is just basically a possession story. Oh, Freddy's possessing me. You know what I mean? Like it's just
which
bad.
Is fantastic.
No,
probably the best movie in the
cool.
series.
Not
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
I got one I think most people would agree was horrible.
Not cool.
That was Jason Goes to New York. Was that the title?
Oh yeah, Friday the 13th
Oh,
party. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah. Oh, that was ridiculous.
No,
All of a
worse.
sudden
Jason in
particular.
space. Which one
Jason-
was Jason? Jason in space.
That
Jason
Which one
X.
was that?
Jason X.
Jason X. Yeah, Jason in
was-
space. That was the worst Jason
Yeah.
movie ever made, in my opinion. Jason
It-
versus Freddy. I would pick Freddy. Guys, I'm a big Freddy fan. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I like that series more than the Jason series. If you're a Freddy lover, put it in the chat. Let's crush Jason right now. Go ahead, Mike.
You was talking about the Manhattan. Was that where you were going?
Oh no,
Yeah,
Jason
go ahead.
Takes Manhattan was there's a funny story about that because if you watch Jason Takes Manhattan, there's a scene where Kane Hodder takes this big giant guy in the diner and throws him up against a mirror. The guy that he threw up against the mirror is Ken Kersinger. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he actually ended up playing Jason in Freddy versus Jason. So he played a guy Jason killed, and he ends up playing Jason in Freddy versus Jason.
And they should have killed both movies. That's what they should have did.
But you know what? Freddy versus Jason did some good stuff. PDUBS should like too because it brought back the what was it called? The Hypnosil, the stuff that made you suppress your dreams. So they actually did some
Yes.
storyline from part 3, the Dream
I
Warriors.
like that. Yeah, the Hypnocell. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. Paranormal Activity
Hold on.
series.
Arcade Amy, I gotta help. The witch porn flick series was called Witchcraft. They're up to Witchcraft 19 at this point.
Oh my God.
I
Jeez,
w-
how
I
do you
won't-
know this, Mike?
Yeah, and I won't check it out later on tonight either.
All right. Now
Uh,
let's be nice to Jim Varney. The Ernest Scared Stupid was a comedy. It wasn't a horror.
And it was awesome.
And it was awesome. It was an awesome comedy. It's not a horror film. And I love the Ernest movies growing up. I used to watch all of them. Ernest
Yeah.
Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas. I still watch it every holiday season. I always watch Ernest Saves Christmas.
I
love
won't go that
movie.
far, but I definitely like the Ernest franchise. Now, what
I
about
like
Chucky?
Ernest.
What about Chucky? Are you guys?
I
Chucky
like
fans?
Chucky.
love
I like
Chucky.
Chucky.
Have you
I
guys
like
been
Chucky.
watching the new series, the Chucky series?
on sci-fi? On sci-fi? No, I
Yeah.
haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, I got to get into that.
All right. We
So,
got some Ernie. Go ahead.
So I want to go back to some Friday the 13th stuff. And what
Mhm.
pains me, I was so excited when Sean Cunningham got the series back for Jason Goes to Hell and then Jason X. And they weren't the greatest movies. In fact, Jason Goes to Hell may be the worst in the series. The only good thing about it was Creighton Duke. But I mean, that storyline where Jason could be an element in a body and switch bodies. Oh man, that was brutal, terrible.
I just put a quick question in the live chat because we're hitting these fast and making it fun. Critters or Ghoulies? I would go Critters. Did you ever see the Ghoulies?
I have both of them downstairs. I'm trying to remember which one is which. I think the Ghoulies was the one where the guy who played Dracula in the Monster Squad was also in the Ghoulies Part 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember Ghoulies being a horror movie per se, though.
We got
Well,
Critters.
it's little creature features, basically.
Yeah. I'm seeing more Critters than Ghoulies. Scott James, though, in Australia, he says Ghoulies.
Troll. Troll 2 is the real jam.
Chucky was the host of NXT Halloween Havoc. I didn't
That
watch
is
that.
accurate. And there was a cool callback on that because Chucky was also a host of a WCW event years ago, and he terrorized Rick Steiner in one of the most awkward promos of all time. And they actually replayed some of that with Rick Steiner's son, who's now in NXT and fought for the World Championship, Braun Breaker.
Mhm. Okay, so let's talk real quick. Worst space themed horror film. So there's a lot of space themed horror films. Now, Rubicon put Event Horizon. I think a lot of us would agree that movie is god awful. That's the one with I think Lawrence Fishburne. But there's a lot of space themed horror movies, and I got a really good one, and it actually came out not too long ago that I think is garbage. And for me, that would be, I think it had Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, just came out a couple years ago. It was called Life, where they have a space probe come back, and it's got like rocks from Mars, and they find this little thing, like this little life cell, and they give it some food, they give it some glucose, give it some oxygen, and next thing you know, this thing is like this little winged bat flying around a spaceship, murdering everybody. Like, I just thought it was totally stupid. And that movie. I did not like that movie Life. I just thought it was totally stupid.
So I'm going to out myself as being a bit of a creep here, but my most disappointing space horror movie was probably Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space, because the chick from Tool Time was in it, and I was like, oh yeah, we're going to see her boobs, and then there was no boobs.
Not Pamela Anderson, the other one. Who was the brunette? Who was the brunette?
I can't remember her name, but she was in Leprechaun 4 in Space.
Yeah, Prometheus was okay. Alien Covenant was much better, in my opinion. Spaceballs, don't go there, man. Spaceballs is amazing. Doom. What about Doom? That's well, I mean, would you consider that a horror movie? I mean, it's a horror video game. What's so funny? What I miss?
Don't get me started on Emmanuel. Don't get me started on Emmanuel. Emmanuel, who was also the second Billy on Days of Our Lives, is an absolute smoke show. Emmanuel was a great series and horrible at the same time.
No Name here says he would watch the Super Game Room dudes in space. Hey, maybe we can call Elon Musk and we can do a broadcast from space. That'd be kind of awesome, right? Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money.
Yeah.
Doom wasn't too bad. Both did they make 2 movies? I thought it was just the one with The Rock.
I'm not sure. Kev Grit says John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars. I stopped watching horror movies. I stopped watching horror movies after, I think, when it got into the mid 90s. Like, I was very selective on what I watched. I'm primarily like a really heavy 80s horror movie guy, like especially like 83 to 90 basically is my sweet spot for horror movies.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's do one more and then we can pull the plug. So, what is the worst horror film based on where you have a group of killers? Does that make sense? It's not a slasher film, but you have a group of killers. So let's say, so I'll give you guys some examples. Hostel, The Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn.
Mother's Day is the worst. Mother's Day is the worst.
Yep. So like a group of killers, right? So any come to mind there, Carl?
Mother's Day.
The movies that the series that I just absolutely hate, and I don't know if it's considered a horror movie or not, but I can't even think of the name. What's the thing when you have the time frame when everybody gets to just murder people for kicks?
The Purge.
The Purge.
The Purge.
That. Oh, I hate that thing with a passion. I wish they would stop that crap and take the old ones off the videotapes. That's just a horrible concept and a horrible thing.
All right. So a lot of people are saying Wrong Turn. Now, they just did a remake of Wrong Turn. You can go watch it on Amazon Prime right now. In my opinion, the remake is worse than the original. The original with Eliza Dushku, and that's probably because I got a crush on Eliza Dushku. I would watch anything she's in. So, I actually like the first Wrong Turn movie.
I like
that's just my opinion.
Alicia Dushku in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Woo, that's good stuff, buddy. Woo,
yeah. Especially with the pizza guy. She's like, come on. She's like, come on up. Man, I almost jumped through my TV.
Somebody said Teletubbies.
Oh my God, Carlos! My wife bought me a basket case for my birthday a couple years ago. I don't know how Basket Case 2 got made. Like, it was terrible. You're right.
She was also in Buffy. Purge movie should never have been made. I like the first Purge movie, but I didn't like any of the sequels. I didn't like any of the sequels myself.
And me in general, any movies once it gets past the second one, I don't watch the third, fourth. I just don't do it.
Now, Restalgia just logged in. He switched from Mystery Coder to his Restalgia profile, and he just logged in. Everyone say hi to Restalgia. Let's see here. What other mass killing? I'm trying to think of movies where you have a group of killers.
Well, I got a better one. What's people's worst zombie? We got so many zombie movies. What's the worst zombie movie? Michael B, you love zombie movies? Are you a Walking Dead?
No, I don't like Walking Dead. I stopped liking Walking Dead. It got too artsy. If Nostalgia was here, he would smash his fist through the screen right now with his love of with his love of Walking Dead. But I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was Land of the Dead with John Leguizamo. Is that what it was called? Not Land, maybe Land of the Dead.
Yeah, Land of the where they were on the island, right?
Yeah, and then the zombies started picking up guns, and they could shoot guns. I don't like anything when the zombies are too smart. I also don't like the new thing with fast zombies.
Yeah,
like,
I hate the ones
like
with the fast zombies. Man, that's so damn scary. That's ridiculous.
I don't like the fast zombie stuff. I like traditional zombie movies, slow moving. The only real newer zombie movie I really liked was I like the Dawn of the Dead remake. I thought that was pretty dope.
All right. So mine, I think it has zombies in it. So we're saying worst zombie movies. I don't think it was meant to be a horror film. It's not a horror film. It's actually a rom-com. It's a stupid ass movie, Warm Bodies, starring the kid who played the Beast in like X-Men First Class and all that, and some cute blonde girl, I forget her name.
Yeah.
My wife loves that movie to death. You know what I mean? Warm Bodies, where the zombies, like, if they fall in love, they turn human again, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was the most god-awful movie I've ever seen in my life. I hated that movie.
Cap Gret's got a lot of good points there. Any Resident Evil.
Look at Shoe Shine. He's like, Warm Bodies is amazing. Your opinion is bad. You should feel bad. Oh, well, here you go.
Wow.
Shoe Shine. Ritual agrees with me. Warm Bodies.
I missed the comment. No, it's gone.
Oh, which one?
I can't remember. It's gone now. Any Resident Evil after 1, Kevgrit says, and I agree with that. That Resident Evil 1 movie, that was okay. Everything else, horrible.
I'm excited to see the new Resident Evil. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool.
Hank Slot said Golden Girls remake was a zombie movie. Apparently,
Papa Brad liked Warm Bodies. Tony says Warm Bodies sucked. There you go. There you go.
Someone said Halloween 3 sucked. Man, oh man, Warm Bodies sucked like Halloween 3. Halloween 3 doesn't suck. Halloween 3 is a goddamn institution. It's probably one of the greatest horror movies that gets absolutely. Night of the Living Dead 4, Necropolis. I don't know if I've seen that spoiled.
Oh my god, the live chat is going nuts. Teresa Palmer, that's her name. Yeah, she's a cutie. That's for sure. She was in Warm Bodies. Let's see here. New Resident Evil was shot in Sudbury, Ontario. Did you know that, Mike? I did not know that.
I did not know that.
And you know what, guys? I like Halloween 3. I thought it was one of the best Halloween movies ever.
If you see a horror movie and what's his name? I can't believe I forgot it now. He's in everything, and I can't remember his name now. Tom Atkins. If you see a horror movie and Tom Atkins is in it, it's a good ass horror movie.
Look at what Carlos wrote. Eddie Rob zombie movie with his wife in it. Show his head and show her butt. Man,
I'm telling you right now, I hate I'd have to ask. This is a really good one to ask. What was the worst horror movie remake of all time? This one is hard. Worst horror movie remake of all time.
Well, I mean, because I just caught it. I mean, the Wrong Turn remake was pretty bad. The Cabin Fever remake was pretty bad. What else was pretty bad?
Rob Zombie Halloween. Rob Zombie Halloween was the worst shit I had ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about though the Nightmare on Elm Street remake starring the guy from The Watchmen as Freddy Krueger?
It was. It was okay up to a point.
Watchable.
It was okay.
Movie. Yeah.
It was okay up to a point. I've talked about this a lot, and it's a kind of an awkward subject. But the fact they went away from a child killer, where he wasn't a child killer at all, and he was just like a weird pedophile, that was really uncomfortable. That wasn't scary in any. It was just really uncomfortable and gross. So the fact that he was a child killer before was kind of like terrifying. But the pedophile aspect was just was not the right thing to do. Really uncomfortable, stupid, unnecessary thing to do.
Yeah. So the Freddy remake, the Halloween remake, the Rob Zombie one, people are saying all really bad. It looks like we have a consensus here in the chat. The Hitcher remake, was the remake the one with Sean Penn, or was Sean Penn in the original? You know who Sean Penn is, right? Boromir, Lord of the Rings.
Sean Bean, yeah.
Yeah, Sean Bean, Sean Penn, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one he was in. Shoeshine, he says he was a pedophile too, Mike.
Yeah, but if he was, it's not the key aspect. The key aspect was that he was the killer, so he was actually killing the kids. He didn't like he just did weird shit with the kids in this one, and he was in a trusted role. Like it was all too weird. Like they were all in a day camp and couldn't remember. So stupid. Like it was tying a story together that didn't need to be tied.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer in the original. So yeah, Sean Bean was in the remake, and yeah, then I would agree because that movie, his version wasn't good. I would agree with that. The Willy Wonka remake was the worst. The one with Johnny Depp. They even removed the petrifying psychedelic tunnel scene. That's pretty cool. He killed new M. Night Shimal. I can never pronounce his name. Is it I know who they're talking about though. The signs.
Yeah,
I see dead people. You know.
After The Village, I kind of gave up on him. I went back, of course, because I wanted to see the sequels to Unbreakable Glass and what was the other one? I
like the one he produced one. I think it was called Devil, where they were stuck in an elevator.
Yeah,
and that was actually not that bad. It was I give it it was watchable. Let's just put it that way.
I got so mad at the movie The Village, I just couldn't watch them anymore.
Yeah, The Village was terrible. Yeah. And I hated Lady in the Water. But I like Signs.
Signs is incredible.
I like Signs. I like obviously the Sixth Sense. Is it the I See Dead People, right?
Yeah, Sixth Sense.
Yeah. Sixth Sense, right? And of course I liked Glass and Split. And
Split, that's the other one I was missing. Unbreakable.
Yeah. Unbreakable, Glass, and Split. I do enjoy those series, except for the final fight in Glass.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna yell at each other. Like that's the big scene. Like you've been waiting 3 movies to see this big superhero fight. And it's just 2 guys yelling at each other. Otherwise, I'm not going to ruin the rest for you.
Oh, man. Glass had the most disappointing ending ever.
Yep.
Like, so stupid.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. What else?
What about the best or worst Tim Burton movie?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
Easy. Batman. Batman 89. Best Tim Burton movie.
Is that the best or worst?
Best.
He's saying that's the best. Okay.
What about you? You got a worst there, Michael B?
Worst Tim Burton movie? I don't know. He's made some real crap after that. The one that he made, Sweeney Todd, wasn't so good.
Oh, Sweeney Todd.
It's not my cup of tea. Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, no. I wasn't a fan of Edward Scissorhands.
Hold on.
That was too weird for me. I just didn't get that movie at all. Edward Scissorhands.
Dark Shadows was worse than Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Dark Shadows wasn't so great either.
Yeah, Dark Shadows was garbage. Greg gave us a $5 super chat. No one ever talks about the fact that Wonka killed like 5 kids fighting his successor. No way Veruca survived that furnace. People are saying Pee-wee was the worst. He did Pee-wee. All right, I had to pull this up here because there's movies he's produced and there's movies he's directed. So we wanted to find movies that he's directed, right? So movies he's directed: Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, which I absolutely love, although the special effects have not aged well. Sleepy Hollow, Planet of the Apes. That's the Mark Wahlberg version. Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows, Frankenweenie, Big Eyes, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I didn't even watch that. Dumbo, and then Dumbo. Yeah, I would have to say the worst thing I've ever seen him do, me personally, is Dark Shadows. So yeah, there you go. Tim Burton, man. I don't like the one with Johnny.
Love him or you hate him, that's for sure.
Okay, what's great about this super chat? Tom's making an excellent joke because these two are in almost every damn Tim Burton movie.
Well,
that's hilarious.
Maybe not anymore because Helena Bonham Carter used to be married to Tim Burton.
Yeah,
and they didn't live in the same house. They had mansions next to each other with a little tunnel underneath so they could go see each other.
Yeah. All right. Carl, any others? You're on a roll here, bro.
I've got candy.
Oh yeah, we didn't ask that. Did we ask
No,
that last year?
Mars Attacks, Jeff, not Attack from Mars. Mars Attacks.
So I will ask this because I'm a big horror movie guy. What's your favorite cult horror movie? So under the radar type horror movie.
Under the radar.
So not one of the big franchises.
Oh yeah. I have to. I gotta type.
Like think about it, like the movie you just rented one time and you were like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. So for me, it would be a movie that's based in Australia. I think it might be based on a true story, but kind of Hollywoodized. It was like this low budget movie. It was called Wolf Creek horror film.
Yeah.
I thought the guy who played the Australian killer was awesome. Like he was such a just interesting character. You know what I mean? Who's so evil. Yet, with that Australian accent, you're like, oh, it's like you don't envision Australians as serial killers. You know what I mean? Like you just don't see it. And I really enjoyed Wolf Creek. And that's a low budget horror film. It's your typical film. People are traveling on the road and they come across a guy who ends up, I'm going to help you, but I'm a serial killer. And they spend the 2 hours trying to get away from him. Right. But I really enjoyed that Wolf Creek. What about you, Mike?
I don't know yet. I'm waiting to see what you guys have to say. I'm looking through some of these in the chat. I don't want to give up mine till the end. I want to see how deep we're going to go here.
Yep. Carl, what about you? Any really low budget? Oh, and of course, I like zombie strippers.
Zombie strippers, yeah.
All right, keep going. Go ahead, Carl.
I don't know. I don't know that I have one. I'm not a really big fan. My wife is the horror.
Killer Clowns.
My wife is the horror film lover in this. The only horror films I watch is the one she forced me to go with her. I was so upset when her cousin moved down to Atlanta because that was the person that she would take to the horror movie shows all the time. So I don't know. Babysitter, was that weird?
Babysitter, the one on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, those just came out, right?
Yeah,
those are
horror,
those are
comedy, crazy.
Yeah, those are really cool.
So one for me it's called The Burning. And actually Jason Alexander from Seinfeld is in it. He plays one of the camp counselors. So I love The Burning, and Cropsy's the killer. Another one I really like is I guess it's a little bit of Jason M just mentioned it, The Stepfather. It's not really a horror movie, but it's just really creepy. It's about this guy that the guy from Lost is in it. He plays the killer. And he goes from town to town and he gets in new relationships because he's looking for the perfect family. And when things go wrong, he just kills the family. And there's this really cool scene where he stops and forgets which one he is. And he goes, "Who am I here?" And that one always stuck out to me. There's a couple other ones people are mentioning. Reanimator. If you watch some of the later Reanimators, they get really weird. And another one I advise you to watch is Last House on the Left, which was actually a movie done by both Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham. And it is the most messed up killer thing you'd ever see.
Yeah. Yep. Last House on the Left. There's the original and then there's the remake. And
you
actually,
watch the original.
Yeah, the original is really good. The remake, I'll put it this way: the remake is watchable. You know what I mean? It's not like it's total garbage. And you $5 from Smitty. Where's Arcade1Up Dragon's Lair? No clue.
I have an answer for that.
All right. Well, we have two super chats. Let's get those out the way.
Quick. We got another one here. Oh, Tyler just joined. What's up with Michael B's costume? Are you an old school football coach? Looking good, Detroit and PDUBS. A bit disappointed when no I did a whole bunch of costume changes during the show. You'll have to watch the replay, Tyler.
Yeah, and I was Indiana Jones, sort of.
Yeah, he got hot. He had to take off the leather jacket.
It's hot. What do you mean?
I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love it when they wrap the people up in the cotton candy. I love it when you got to pop the nose to kill them. You know what I mean? Like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is always going to be a cult favorite of mine. Let's see here. The Silent Hill. That's not really. Would you consider that cult? I mean, they made 2 of those movies, right?
No, that's a big budget one. Like someone mentioned Ginger Snaps, which is kind of a cult movie, and I fell in love with the girl that's in it. She was also in Freddy vs. Jason. Beautiful. She was also on a couple episodes of Supernatural, I think, as well. Anyways, I see a lot of them. Dreamcast Kyle's got some good stuff. The original Prom Night, all those early Jamie Lee Curtis movies were fantastic. Like Terror Train. Oh man, there was so many good ones. So yeah, there's a lot of good old horror out there. So during this holiday season, Halloween season, for the last couple days that you got, go out there and try to find the weird stuff. A lot of people mention The Stuff. The Stuff is the weirdest movie you'd ever watch. Really, really cool. And another one I love starring Tom Atkins is Night of the Creeps. If you can get out and watch that, watch Night of the Creeps.
You guys were talking about remakes. Has anyone seen the remake of Candyman? And what'd you guys think about that?
I didn't see the remake.
I didn't see it yet.
I saw the remake of Fright Night with Colin Farrell, and I thought that was garbage.
I loved it. I loved it.
You
I thought
loved
it was
Fright
fantastic.
Night?
Yeah, I loved the new
Remake?
Fright Night. I've watched it a bunch of times. It's hilarious.
Colin Farrell? Is it Colin Farrell? The Irish guy, right?
Colin Farrell plays the vampire. And the guy from Star Trek that died, got crushed by his Jeep, is the kid. The girl, I don't know who she is, but it's the guy that plays what's his name? Vincent. Who's the former, he played Mr. Purple in Jessica Jones, and he was a former he was a former Doctor Who, but he was fantastic as 1985 Fright Night is solid, but I love the remake. I know it's sacrilege, but I love it.
What, Smitty? You guys?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, Smitty. So John D was on my show Monday, and he said one of the things with Dragon's Lair why it got delayed was the fact that they wanted to go back and they wanted to give an option. BYO, bring your own screen, was a big problem. So they actually went out and they got what's the original screen that was in Dragon Lair? It's alphanumeric screen.
Yeah, alphanumeric.
Yeah, they actually went out and they sourced alphanumeric screens. So when Dragon Lair comes out, it is going to have an alphanumeric second screen. So that was the holdup. And he basically said, expect maybe before end of year, we might get a pre-order.
All right. Carl Tyler is paying us $5. He wants to hear you tell us about the Candyman remake. Now, I've never seen the remake, seen the original. Tell me why I should watch the remake.
Well, I don't recall watching the first one, so this was my first exposure to it. My wife made me watch it recently, and I don't recall what the first one. So, but I know the second one is the African American guy is the Candyman. The whole get up is he's this art dealer trying to get into the art, and it's really crazy to me. I'm not a fan of horror movies in general. I only watch them when my wife makes me watch them. But I can't say I enjoyed it. It was just a little weird for me, without a doubt.
It was weird.
It was weird.
Okay. What was I going to tell you? We were talking about, because we keep talking about remakes, right? I love the original movie, The Thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
with Kurt Russell. What I liked about the remake,
which is a remake, remake.
What?
Kurt Russell's The Thing is a remake.
Is it?
Yeah,
I thought that was the original.
No,
there was another one done before that.
Yeah.
You're kidding me. Well, what I was going to say is the one that got released a few years ago, where it was still titled The Thing, but it was actually technically a prequel to that movie. It's like what happened when the alien was found at a Norwegian base camp, and how they tied it in at the end to the first movie. Like the end scene is like the opening of the movie from the 80s. Like, I actually enjoyed it. I like the Thing. I like what they did there. Instead of remaking it, they're like, let's tell a prequel. You know what I mean? So yeah. There you go. I
love Kurt Russell in The Thing, and it probably has the greatest horror movie ending of all time, because if you want to talk about the best space horror movie, even though it's not in space, it's The Thing. The Thing is fantastic. Best ending ever. I know we're getting off track here, but one thing that really pisses me off about when they did that new Blade Runner movie is one of the coolest mysteries of Blade Runner was, is he a replicant? Is he a replicant? It's like if they did a sequel to The Thing and they told you at the end who the actual Thing was in. Was he in Kurt Russell or was he in the other guy? We don't never need to know. That's the beauty of the movie. And it was the beauty of Blade Runner as well. So it sucks that we ever did find out.
I'm trying to find this original Thing movie. I'm sorry, Mike. You're blowing my mind that wasn't the original movie. Here it is. It's called The Thing from Another World. Was a 1951 black and white science fiction horror film. I had no idea. This is awesome. I want to go check out the old black and white. Have you seen it, Mike? Is it good?
No, I've never seen it.
All right, we should do that. We'll watch it and write each other a quick book report on it. I would agree. Now, let's be careful here, guys. Let's be careful. We don't want to ruin this for anyone who hasn't seen it. Guys, if you've never seen the Stephen King The Mist movie, I truly believe what Devil Waldo is saying here. It has an amazing ending, but let's try not to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it and get ready for your mind to be blown. Let's just say that. We don't want to ruin that ending. Yes, the ending.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
The ending is shocking. And
So
Mike, did you like how I said that? Your mind to be blown. Do you get it?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So Digipunk mentioned The Fog. I was so sad that when I started my horror movie watching this Halloween season, I went downstairs to find my copy of The Fog, and I couldn't find it. The only thing I could find was the remake starring the guy from Smallville. And I'm just so upset that I don't have the original John Carpenter The Fog. I don't know where it's gone. I am just devastated. I've been looking for it in stores. I'm going to have to eBay it or try to get it from Amazon.
The Fog. Okay. You know what movie? I'm gonna give everyone a homework assignment. Mike, I'll tell you what. I will go watch the black and white Thing, but you need to watch that Roddy Piper movie. What's the Roddy Piper movie about the frogmen? You know what I'm talking about?
Something Frogtown. I can't remember.
Like Devil Comes to Frogtown or something like that.
It's on Shudder right now. I can watch it there.
What is that Frogtown movie? What is that? What is the Frogtown movie? Oh my God. I've seen it once and I haven't seen it since. And I don't know why it just popped in my head.
It's not They Live, guys. There's a
No, not They Live. They Live is amazing, but I'm talking the Roddy Piper movie with the frog. You know what I'm talking
Hell
about
Comes
here?
to Frogtown or something.
Hell
like that.
Comes to Frogtown. You guys, let's all watch Hell Comes to Frogtown and we'll talk about it next week.
So Dreamcast, Kyle, I have some of the Scream Factory releases, not all of them. It's just, when you have hobbies like video game collecting and stuff, you have to pick and choose sometimes. And like the toy stuff lately is really cut into my other hobbies. Like it's a nightmare. I just got to stop collecting stuff.
And PDUBS, you said the Mist is a Stephen King movie?
Yeah, it's a Stephen King story originally.
Yeah, it's a Stephen King story that they made into a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. The ending is amazing.
Yeah, growing up, Stephen King was my favorite artist. I've read just about every one of his books.
Me too, Carl.
I think that's the if you look at all the books in my house, that's the most book Arthur I have in my house here.
He's the only author I still read. Actually, what's your favorite Stephen King novel?
The Stand.
Mine too.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
The movie, okay, but the book is incredible.
Yeah. Did you like the new show?
They spelled it wrong.
The new show that came out just last year, where the guy from True Blood played Randall Flagg.
I didn't see that. I hadn't seen that.
You should go back and watch it. It's very different from the books. They take some very, very big liberties. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Purdue's Game Room was asking about the movie with the aliens with the sunglasses. That's They Live, buddy.
Yep.
That's They Live with Roddy Piper. Amazing.
So if you find a pair of those sunglasses and look at the guy that runs Facebook, what's his name? That's what you'll see.
So my favorite Stephen King book would probably, I would agree with Digipunk, be Misery. Now I've only read maybe 6 or 7 of the books. Usually I stick with the movies, but I did read Misery and I did read It. It took me forever to read.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I didn't really like where they went in that book, especially you didn't like
the children orgy.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, like this book's going on, and of course they've never put it in the movies, even the movies that just came out, because it would be hellacious, right? These kids are all under 15 years of age.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden they're like, hey, we beat a monster. Let's all have sex in the sewer together. You know what I mean? And you read that and you're like, what the F is going on here? I did not like it, the book. And I think that may have been the last Stephen King book I read. Maybe? No. I don't know. But yeah, I did not like the It the It book. But I did like Misery. I just thought it was really well done. It's like you can imagine like Stephen King like must have had a dream one night because he's like his characters are usually like an author like him, you know what I mean, going through some weird shit. Like he must have a
drug addiction.
Yeah. Right. He must have had a dream one night. Like, what if I got into a car wreck and a super fan rescued me, right? But then kept me hostage. You know what I mean? And then he writes a book about it. Like that guy's amazing. So Christopher Walken was also in Communion. Wasn't Christopher Walken in, is it The Prophecy? Was that Christopher Walken?
He was in The Prophecy, and wasn't he also in Deliverance?
And Deliverance.
Yeah.
There you go. What was that Stephen? Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. What was that Stephen King with the dude from Band of Bros? I don't know.
No idea.
I kept The Shining in the freezer. All right. 2 hours in, people are starting to head out. I think this was a lot of fun for a Halloween-themed episode. You guys are awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to the channel.
And until next time, we'll see you on the web.
By the way, guys, we forgot to mention one more thing. Papa Brad is legit.